Hey bro, what's good, yo? Soul here and welcome back to my story mode. So, based on the title and obviously the thumbnail, you guys already know what you're in for. Ever since the transition over to 3DS, we have always most likely ended up getting some form of new gimmick. Or at the very least, if you want to get technical with it, all of the generational games have had a new gimmick so far. Since we've had it for so long now, I think it's more than fair to expect something like that. And you know, say what you will about gimmicks, but personally, I'm always welcoming of something new to the series. With all of these newer games that ended up getting a new gimmick introduced, whether it be good or bad, you kinda have to admit, it at least mixed up the formula. In Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, I did say that it was refreshing to go back to standard form, but I will be honest, that feeling lasted about a day or so before I was like, wow, God, I'm so tired of this. As much as I do love the basic formula, we've had it for so long now that we got burnt out on it. At the very least, with all of these new gimmicks getting introduced, there's something new, something unique to mix up the battles a little bit. So, with Gen 9 on the horizon, we're gonna continue to speculate, ponder, wonder, and fear what this possible new gimmick may bring for us. So why don't we talk about the potential of gimmicks when it comes to Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet? First thing I want to talk about is the previous gimmicks, only because as soon as the word gimmicks is brought up, all of the other ones come into play too, so let's dissect that really quick. The long and short of it is, none of the oldest gimmicks are coming back. However, even on the off chance that they were to come back, they most definitely would not be the main focus of Generation 9. While Mega Evolution is arguably one of the best gimmicks that have ever come to this series, I don't see it making a very strong comeback this time around, and if it were to come back, it would possibly be available at the end, kind of like 7th gen, if anything, but based on what they did with 8th gen, I don't really see that happening. Z-moves have been a mixed bag with everybody forever now, and the likelihood of that coming back is little to none. And Dynamaxing, while it's a very fun gimmick, is most likely not coming back either. From a story standpoint, it wouldn't make any sense because Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing are exclusive to the Galar region. It's said in-game, and I don't see how they would be able to change anything like that, so I doubt that they're retconning it. All of these are very fun and most definitely for their time unique gimmicks. If they were for some reason to end up bringing any of these gimmicks back, it would most likely be because it's going to be part of the post-game, or it's going to be part of some little weird in-between game like Pokemon Legends, but until that happens, I don't see those coming back for mainline generational games like Scarlet and Violet. Fun in theory, but the reality of it is we don't really have any form of control over that. And sometimes that's just the way it is. Moving on from that, another thing that I thought of that I didn't actually type up in my little mini script here is the idea of not getting another gimmick. Like, there is a real possibility of us just going back to bare bones battling, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that. On one hand, if we're exploring a brand new region, I'm sure a lot of us or most of us may not even care as much, especially if we have complete freedom to roam the world like they say, because it is supposed to be an open world game. So theoretically, that is definitely something that they could probably get away with. But on the other hand, I don't know, it'd be kind of weak going into a whole brand new game and just not having something that turns the tides a little bit, you know? I guess the long and short of that is, I would definitely live, but I wouldn't be the happiest camper about it, you know? But hey, maybe that's just me. I have no idea. You go ahead and tell me if you wouldn't want a gimmick in this next game. Anyhow, you may notice that in this video, when we were talking about the previous gimmicks, I didn't bring up the strong and agile style that we just had in Pokemon Legends. I wanted to make a separate section for this part of the discussion only because, yeah, it is the most recent gimmick in the series, however, it sits in a weird spot solely because it was introduced in such a weird game. In reality, when you look at it, we don't really know if Game Freak considers this a mainline game. However, it was developed by Game Freak. They literally put Ilka to the side to make the remakes so that they could put all of their energy and efforts on this game and Scarlet and Violet. So, I think it's fair to call it a mainline game, but it's the first prequel that we've ever had. It's so weird. And because of all of this confusion regarding Pokemon Legends, I think that it's more than fair to also be confused about the longevity of a lot of things, specifically the mechanics from Pokemon Legends, especially the strong and agile style. Now, I'm only speaking for myself here, but quite frankly, in all honesty, the gimmick in of itself is awesome. It is phenomenal. I like this one better than a lot of the gimmicks that we've had up to recently because it's realistic, it's simple, and with a little bit of work, it's actually very feasible for competitive. Right next to Mega Evolution, quite frankly, I would be more than okay with this gimmick right here becoming a staple part of the series. Besides Mega Evolution, it's the only mechanic where I didn't immediately look at it and go, wow, that is gonna be absolutely ridiculous. It's simple, it fits, and it works. And frankly, this gimmick invites the most strategy as opposed to the other gimmicks that just give you a massive power boost. Talking about it like this has made me recognize more than ever that I very much enjoy this gimmick, possibly even more than Mega Evolution. Every gimmick has its dope quality, but if I had to be stuck with one, I would probably stick myself with Strong and Agile style. Okay, I think I rambled enough about how much I like the gimmick. I'm sorry, I haven't been able to work on the review. I apologize. But you get what I'm getting at, and you probably know exactly where I'm going with this too. In all honesty, I see a 95% chance of Strong and Agile style returning for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. For one thing, we already know that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet pretty much run on a better version of whatever engine that Pokemon Legends was using. 2, of all the gimmicks that we've been introduced to, Strong and Agile style is the only gimmick that hasn't been introduced to us through a mainline game. And 3, this game has been confirmed to be open world, and in an open world setting, Strong and Agile style is the most fitting gimmick that I can see that we've had up to this point that works with that. So, say what you will, even if you don't believe that it's strong evidence, it's my evidence, and I'm sticking by it. And also, frankly, I think it's the safest option. Like, put yourself in the shoes of the developers for a minute. You are on a time crunch for a big name AAA title that's supposed to come out either a year from then or a year after. So, what do you and the team do? Do you A, try to pick a gimmick that you've used in the past that clearly would not work for an open world? B, create a brand new gimmick from scratch and pray to the gods that it works in this new engine that you're utilizing? Or C, run with the test subject that actually worked? When you think about it logically and the time that we have left before these games come out, it's a little bit of a no-brainer. I would actually be 100% genuinely shocked if they came up with an entirely brand new gimmick for these generational games instead of just reusing Strong and Agile style. I really would. I would be truly and thoroughly impressed with these developers because honestly, they simply don't get enough time. If they did, I'm sure that the gimmicks that we do have up to this point would probably be a lot more balanced. But either way, I think you get my drift by now. I 100% see Strong and Agile style coming back for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I think it's a win-win because they get to use something that they've actually tested in a game prior, and we get to test out something that we only got 5 minutes with and actually get to use it in competitive. Universally at this point, we've all pretty much come to the conclusion that Pokemon Legends Arceus was walking so that Generation 9 could run. Based on the information that we've been given, I think it's also only fair of us to come to the conclusion that a lot of what was available in Legends will come to Generation 9 in some way. Some may call that foolish and headstrong, but hey, what can we do? We do not have a lot to run on right now. So anyhow, now you know exactly where I stand when it comes to Strong and Agile style. I'm super ready for it. I'm ready to mess around with that gimmick again. I am. Now the last thing that I want to talk about in this video here is just a couple ideas that I've heard for potential gimmicks. I've heard a lot of people talk about the possibility of them bringing over Pokemon fusions. And then people get extremely mad when you're like, oh, you mean like how they did in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2? Because everybody's like, no, that's not that, shut up. Because they kind of want to pretend that didn't happen, I guess. I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool. Anyhow, as fun and crazy as that gimmick sounds, I don't think that that would work. And I guess to really clarify that, I just don't think that they have enough time to perfect a gimmick like that in like the year or two that they have to work on these games. Like, just think about that concept for a second. Pokemon fusions? That's a big ass gimmick. The only way for them to make that work is to make it so that only very specific Pokemon can fuse with one another under very specific circumstances. Which is fine, they could most likely do something like that anyway, but I'd rather they took the time to really work out the kinks for something like that. Would it be permanent? Would it be temporary for every single battle? How would that new Pokemon stats change? What would the moveset be like? It's too much. If anything, I could see them cooking up another Legends game with the B team and coming up with the gimmick there, but other than that, I don't see something like that happening in the new generational games just yet. If they were to do something like that, I would not want their time to be limited, you know? I would want them to perfect this gimmick. I would want them to put all the time they have into balancing and perfecting a gimmick that we can utilize for a long time and make the games fun. And with the amount of Pokemon that they would have to consider as good candidates for Pokemon Fusion, I think that that would take too long. So, I say hold off on the idea. But hey, they could be cooking that stuff up right now. What do I know? The last thing that I've heard around was just a little bit of talk here and there, maybe about like dual typings for moves or triple typings for Pokemon, which that would just be bananas, bro. That would be crazy. Like, I could imagine that next trailer and just seeing like one of the starter Pokemon's final evolutions and it has like a third typing on it now, and then just the floodgates of hell would break loose. Like that would just be crazy. I don't know, if they did it, I guess I wouldn't exactly hate it, but I don't know if I'd consider that a gimmick. I feel like that would just add complications to everything, so I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with that. But either way, that just about wraps up all of my thoughts when it comes to potential gimmicks for these upcoming games. All in all, while I do see strong and agile style as the most likely comeback, I'm not opposed to anything else. I'm curious to see what they do. It doesn't really matter what it is, as long as it's fun, brings something new to the table, and is at least somewhat viable for competitive, because with a generational game, you can't not have competitive. That would sink you, but we'll see how that plays out. But with, oh, whoa. Sorry, hold on, sorry, you have something stuck in your hair. You just, no, up to the left. There you go. Oh, it's the mic! That's where it was. Okay, but actually, while you have it, why don't you guys go ahead and tell me your thoughts on everything? Do you like the idea of strong and agile style coming back? Do you like the idea of any of the other gimmicks coming back? Do you see any of those making a return? Do you not want any gimmicks at all? Do you want Pokemon fusions or triple typings? Anything like that? Go ahead and let me know everything down in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I am always down there with you guys without a doubt. But with that, I'm outro. I would like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. But with that, I'm hopping. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!